Welcome. This is the next edition of Constitution Study Television. I am Douglas V. Gibbs, your host, and I'm trying to do as many videos as we can. I am an instructor on the Constitution. I teach classes on the U.S. Constitution in Temecula and Corona, California. I've written 6 books. Feel free to look them up. Go to douglasvgibbs.com and check it out. And in the next video, this video in our series, we have gotten to the preamble, and I want to talk about the first 3 words. We the people. And, we the people is probably the words most commonly known by Americans when it comes to the Constitution. Now, the formal version of the Magna Carta in England was issued on June 19, 1215. And there was a minor change in the new document when the final version was drafted, replacing the term any baron with any freeman in stipulating to whom provisions applied. The term would eventually include all Englishmen, and the final version's applicability to all members of English society served as a starting point for the Constitution's preamble, where any freeman was changed once again, but this time to the first 3 words of the American document, we the people. The framers of the U.S. Constitution drew inspiration from the doctrines of the British Constitution, or more specifically, what was called English liberties. In America, the founders adopted the best of the English system, while adapting as necessary to the new circumstances of the fledgling republic. The influences of the Magna Carta and a demand for liberty existed in the English colonies long before the War of Independence. In fact, John Adams wrote to Thomas Jefferson, the revolution was in the minds of the people. And this was effected from 1760 to 1775 in the course of 15 years before a drop of blood was shed at Lexington. Now, Americans knew their rights, and they were willing to fight for them. The seal adopted by Massachusetts on the eve of the Revolution summed up the mood. The image was of a militiaman with sword in one hand and the Magna Carta in the other. Now, when it was time to form a new government during the Constitutional Convention in 1787, the framers of the Constitution determined that, like England, under the Magna Carta, government must be limited by subjecting it to the rule of law. The Constitution, once ratified, became the law of the land based on the philosophy of the laws of nature and of nature's God. As John Adams put it, a new federal government must be a government of laws and not of men. Rule of law versus the rule of man. I have a saying, I say that when we abandon the rule of law and we begin chasing after the rule of man, it doesn't take very long before we start dancing around a golden calf. Anyway, it was to be a government deriving its just powers from the consent of the governed. Yet it was not to be a pure democracy. While the first words of the preamble are we the people, we must remember that those words are followed by of the United States. The states, after all, gave up some of the powers in order to establish the federal government through the U.S. Constitution. And the states are the parents over the new government and a second constituency with the people. Unfortunately, as time has passed, the words we the people have come to mean among the political elite and the judicial class that the United States is a democracy. We hear it all the time, don't we? Even our favorite conservative pundits, constitutionalists, politicians, Republicans, Democrats, all of them, they use the word democracy when referring to the United States, and in truth, we're not supposed to be. The attempt to call our system a democracy is nothing new. 5 times in the Federalist Papers, James Madison actually had to explain the difference between a republic and a democracy. 5 times, because even back then there were forces attempting to confuse the two. A republic is a system based on the rule of law with many checks and balances, and a representative system designed in such a way that the other constituencies, such as the states and the counties, have a voice. So as to protect the voice of the minority. A democracy, as they say, is 2 wolves and a sheep voting on what to have for dinner. A democracy, according to Thomas Jefferson, is the tyranny of the majority, where 51% can vote away the rights of the other 49%. According to John Adams, there has never been a democracy that did not commit suicide. According to James Madison, democracies are short in their lives and violent in their deaths. According to Karl Marx, a democracy is a transitional system that paves the road toward socialism. Now, the first three words of the preamble of the United States Constitution are among the most iconic words in American history. They bring to mind phrases such as the will of the people and the common good. And we must remember, we the people is only a part of the puzzle. Even we the people, if given too much power, are capable of throwing away liberty for tyranny. If not properly checked, we are capable of throwing away the blessings of liberty for the enslavement of bondage. If given too much power, we the people, as predicted by communist leaders in the last century, can be and are more than willing to raise the flag of authoritarianism, of communism, and enslave ourselves while basking in the false promises of government security, political security, all of that security. With freedom comes responsibility, and we the people must be willing to do what it takes to protect our liberty, which includes making sure we operate as a republic. Once a woman made a comment to me last year about a patriotic bumper sticker I had on my car, saying that she would not dare put such a sticker on her car for fear of somebody keying her car. And I replied, do you realize what you just said? The Founding Fathers put on the line their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor, and you're worried about a paint job? And we the people requires action, advocacy, and a willingness to die for liberty. While we are not a democracy, our republic does begin with the consent of the governed, and it is we the people who have the right to alter or abolish our government, should it become tyrannical. We the people, my friends, is not just the first three words of the preamble. Those words are a call to action. They are a reminder that we do not do what if we do not do what we can to protect liberty, liberty will be lost forever. Thank you for listening. We will have you, and viewing, we will have the next video. We'll continue through the preamble in the next one. Appreciate all of you listening and viewing this video. Do me a favor. If you don't subscribe to this series of videos, hit the subscribe button right there on the page where you're looking at. If you're on the YouTube page, go. If you're not on the YouTube page, you're watching this on something like Political Pistachio or some of the other sites that my stuff appears on. Go to the YouTube page where this is at. Hit the subscribe button so that you can be informed whenever a new video comes out. And if you want to help out with what I'm doing, you can go to Patreon. That's Patreon, patreon.com/Douglas V. Gibbs, or go to douglasvgibbs.com and hit the donate link. And monthly subscribers, or should I say monthly donors, are badly needed, funding everything that we do. I do more than just the videos. Any help is appreciated. Also, don't forget, Constitution Radio airs every Saturday on AM radio. Learn more about that at douglasvgibbs.com and go to media and then Constitution Radio. Thanks for spending the time with me, and we'll see you next time right here on Constitution Study Television.